What is graphic design? Design is the visual synthesis of ideas. Design commands imagination, creates connections, fosters understanding, and provides meaning. Design shapes the visible environment and delivers information to everyone within it. It is functionally delivering messages with purpose. Design is ever present in just about everything. It touches your life every day, all day. Graphic designers work with drawn, painted, photographed, and computer-generated images. But they also design the letter forms that make up various typefaces found in movie credits and TV ads, in books, magazines, menus, catalogs, mailers, signs, billboards, t-shirts, even on computer screens. Designers create, choose, and organize these elements: typography, images, the so-called white space around them. And they do this all to communicate a message. Graphic design is a part of your daily life. From humble things like gum wrappers to huge things like billboards to the t-shirt that you may be wearing right now. Graphic design informs, persuades, organizes, stimulates, locates, identifies, attracts attention, and provides pleasure. Graphic design is the function of communication. Suppose you want to announce or sell something, amuse or persuade someone, explain a complicated system or demonstrate a process. In other words, you have a message that you want to communicate. How do you send it? You could tell people one by one or broadcast it by radio or loudspeaker. That's called verbal communication. But if you use any visual medium at all, if you make a poster, type a letter, create a business logo, a magazine ad or an album cover, even make a computer printout, then you're using a form of visual communication called graphic design. Graphic design is a creative process that combines art and technology to communicate ideas. The designer works with a variety of communication tools in order to convey a message from the client to a particular audience. The main tools are image and typography. Image-based design is basically when designers develop images to represent the ideas that their clients want to communicate. Images can be incredibly powerful and compelling tools of communication, conveying not only information but also moods and emotions. People respond to images instinctively based on their personalities, associations, and previous experience. In the case of image-based design, the images must carry the entire message. There are few, if any, words to help. These images may be photographic, painted, drawn, or graphically rendered, and in many different ways. Image-based design is employed when the designer determines that, in a particular case, a picture is indeed worth 1,000 words. Type-based design is also used. In some cases, designers rely on words to convey a message, but they use words differently from the ways writers do. To designers, what the words look like is just as important as their meaning. The visual forms, whether typography is or handmade lettering in itself, perform many communication functions. They can arrest your attention on a poster, identify the product name on a package or a truck, and present running text as the typography in a book. Designers are experts at presenting information in a visual form in print or in film, packaging, or signs. When you look at an ordinary printed page of running text, basically a book, what is involved in designing such a seamlessly simple page? Think about what you would do if you were asked to redesign the page. Would you change the typeface or the type size? Would you divide the text into a narrower column? Would you use multiple columns? What about the margins and the spacing between the paragraphs and the lines? Would you indent the paragraphs or begin them with some sort of decorative lettering? What other kinds of treatment might you give the page number? Would you change the boldface terms? Would you use italic or underlining? What other changes might you consider, and how would they affect the way the reader reacts to the content? Designers evaluate the message and the audience for type-based designs in order to make these kinds of decisions. Image and type are also used together in many forms of visual communication. Designers often combine images and typography to communicate a client's message to an audience. They explore the creative possibilities presented by words, typography, and images, things like photography, illustration, and fine art. It's up to the designer not only to find or create appropriate letter forms and images, but also to establish the best balance between them. Designers are the link between the client and the audience. On the one hand, the client is often too close to a message to understand various ways in which it can be presented. The audience, on the other hand, is often too broad to have any sort of direct impact on how communication is presented. What's more, it's usually difficult to make the audience a part of the creative process. Unlike client and audience, graphic designers learn how to construct a message and how to present it successfully. They work with the client to understand content and then purpose the message accordingly. They often collaborate with market researchers and other specialists to understand the nature of the audience. Once a design concept is chosen, the designers work with the illustrators and the photographers, as well as the typesetters and the printers or other production specialists to create the final design product. Symbols, logos, and logotypes are special, highly condensed forms of information that serve as an identifier. Symbols are abstract representations of a particular idea or identity. Think of the NBC peacock or the Nike swoosh. These are both symbolic forms. We have learned to recognize these as representing a particular concept or company because of the way they've been branded. Logotypes are corporate identifications based on special typographical word treatment. Some identifiers are hybrid or combinations of symbol and logotype. In order to create these identifiers, the designer must have a clear vision of the corporation or the idea to be represented and the audience at which the message is directed. This kind of sums up graphic design. As we go through this course, we'll be looking at how the different elements and principles work together and how you can better understand these and then better use them to communicate your message.